All right, let's talk about sleep. You probably think you need some complicated multi-step routine to fix your schedule. And if you're like most people, you've tried it all and you're still tired. Well, what if I told you all that effort, all that planning is the very thing keeping you awake?
So here's the main idea, and it's a little counterintuitive. All that time you spend optimizing your sleep, it's really just a fancy form of procrastination. You're not preparing for sleep, you're actively avoiding it by turning it into some kind of complex project.
And you see this play out all the time. You have two types of people. First, you've got the procrastinator. You can picture them, right? They're surrounded by teas, journals, a dozen sleep apps, and they look totally stressed out. Then you have the doer. They're just in bed, sleeping. One is working hard at sleeping, the other is simply sleeping. So let's really dig into this optimization trap. It's this idea that if you just find that perfect sequence of events before bed, you'll unlock perfect sleep. But what's really happening here is just a classic case of analysis paralysis. You're overthinking it. I mean, you know the checklist. First, you've got to brew the perfect cup of chamomile tea. Then it's time for that 20-minute guided meditation you downloaded. After that, you've got to write in your gratitude journal, preferably one made of ancient papyrus for maximum effect. And to top it all off, you force yourself to read a chapter of some boring book you secretly hate, all in the name of winding down. And this is the core misunderstanding. We treat sleep like a project that has to be managed and perfected. But it's not a project. Sleep is the absence of doing. It is literally the act of doing nothing. Okay, I can hear you now, but wait a minute, isn't winding down for an hour or two a good thing? That's what all the experts say. Well, let's do some very simple and maybe slightly painful math. It's this simple. If your perfect wind-down routine takes 3 hours, you have just lost 3 hours of actual sleep. You didn't gain better sleep, you just traded real sleep for the idea of it. The cost is right there, and it's kind of hard to ignore. So if the old way is broken, what actually works? We're going to cover 3 pretty unconventional methods that are less about thinking and more about physically training your body to do what it already knows how to do. First up is the one alarm method. And the key thing to understand here is that this has absolutely nothing to do with willpower. This technique is about building the physical muscle memory to get up, so you don't even have time to start that morning negotiation with yourself. Here's exactly how you practice it, and you do this during the day, not when you're half asleep in the morning. Set your alarm for 1 minute from now. Lie down, pretend you're sleeping. The second that alarm rings, you don't think, you don't hesitate. You physically launch yourself out of bed, feet on the floor. Do this 5 times in a row, and you'll start to build that automatic reflex. The mantra for this is simple. Be the dog. Seriously, think of Pavlov's experiments. The bell rings, the dog salivates. There's no negotiation. For you, the alarm rings, you get up. It needs to become an unconscious, trained response, not some daily test of your discipline. All right, next up, the 15-minute rule. This one is designed to fight that classic mistake we've all made, trying to go from waking up at 10 a.m. to 5 a.m. overnight. That's just a recipe for failure and misery. So instead of that massive 5-hour jump that you're going to give up on by Tuesday, just shift your wake-up time by 15 minutes each day. It sounds slow, but it really only takes about 10 days to completely reset your schedule, and that is infinitely faster than the years you might have already spent just complaining about being tired. Here's a quick and really practical one. We all know the blue light from our phones messes with sleep, but just dimming the screen doesn't really cut it. Go into your phone's accessibility settings and turn the whole screen red. Yes, red. It blocks way more blue light, and as a nice little bonus, it makes you look like a submarine commander. And for our final hack, we have the Boredom Principle. For the last 30 minutes of your day, the goal is not to perform some new, special, relaxing routine. The goal is much, much simpler. Just be bored. Put the screens away, your brain needs an off switch, and boredom is probably the most effective one there is. So what does being bored actually look like? Well, you could read something profoundly uninteresting, like the operations manual for your dishwasher. You could tidy up a little. Or you could literally just stand in the dark. The main thing to avoid is any big activity, like eating a 4-course meal right before trying to sleep. And the reason this works is because it's just biology. If your mind isn't being stimulated and your body isn't busy digesting a huge meal, you will eventually fall asleep. It's not some magic trick. It's just how we're wired. So let's pull all this together. The big takeaway here is to just get out of your own way. You have to stop treating sleep like a negotiation between what you want to do and what you think you should do.
Because at the end of the day, fixing your sleep isn't about finding more discipline. It's about setting up systems and training your body so that when it's time to sleep or time to wake up, there's simply no decision left for you to make. You completely remove the option to negotiate with your pillow.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Take a look at your own routine. What's the one optimization, that one extra unnecessary step that you can just cut out tonight and get into bed sooner?